Hi guys, it's Clementara from the Amazon. It's the 11th of September 2021, and yes, they are having the remembrance of the towers, but we are far away from this right now, and we hope that we can make a new start with some more joyful stuff. Here's a flower from my garden that just bloomed, very nice. Thank you to all the beautiful flowers and to the Pachamama. So what's been happening in general has been a lot of talk about the political left and the right, and I don't really want to go into the political left and the right. I want to go into the physical left and the right of the brain, and you will see it is somehow related to the political left and the right as well. So this is something that I've gathered from different channelings on the internet, and I found them correlating good to each other, so it made sense to me, and I thought it was worth making some notes about it. So first I want to discuss the right side and the left side of the physical brain. The left side is related to critical thinking, logic and science. It also relates to the ego and the mind. The right side is related to feeling unity with each other, believing in God, art, music and love. None of this is absolute, since there are shades, and art can be self-seeking, for example, and science can be opening new dimensions for humanity, so it's not completely black and white, but I want to stay with the general direction and not argue about specifics in this particular story. What we know from brain and nerve research is that the neural network in the body switches across at the back of the skull, just here. So the right brain energy switches at the back there, and then goes left down into the neural network of the heart, while the left side of the brain switches and goes down into the neural network of the liver and all the other parts that are on that side. So, for instance, the left will often I can see myself in the mirror here. The right side, this is my right side, will go across to the heart, and the left side will across to the, for instance, also the right hand, which is the executive hand for many people in writing and the actions. You're operating things like knives and precision drawing. Again, there are left-handed people, but they are in the minority. And even though some are taught to use their right hand when they were young, still they are in the minority. This nervous network also incorporates the liver, seat of frustrations and anger, so the left brain goes across to the liver on the right side. Seat of frustration and anger, and on the right the heart is the seat of love and compassion and joy. Okay, so I heard from several channelings that there is a galactic federation looking after our galaxy, and it is under the higher directive of the Council of Planets, which look after many galaxies. It boggles the mind. I had a personal exchange with the Galactic Federation about 10 years ago when I channeled information about the asteroid belt in our solar system, and I will get to that because it is important. Then I heard a channeling from the Council of Planets, many of whom may not be humanoid beings, but still they were clear in this explanation. It was good, easy to understand. In that channeling they explained that they have been setting up groups of certain types of consciousness around the universe. And these groups have to evolve and will graduate once they liberate themselves from their egoic thinking and become God conscious. As these creators set up these groups, seeding them in certain areas and planets, these masters set up a bias in the brain of their neophytes. And this means that the dial in their brain is emphasizing the right or the left side. This channeled council member said that when the bias was to the left brain, the people would be ego-driven and argumentative. And even though the ego would be important for becoming conscious of themselves as individuals, it would become a stumbling block later on and could stop their group from graduating and becoming God-realized. In this way, the same group may find themselves repeating cycles of learning and still not graduating out of that reality, like I believe we have at present with people from ancient Atlantis. In other cases, the groups became so argumentative that they ended up in nuclear war and even got their planets destroyed, like what happened to the asteroid belt, which was a planet long ago in our solar system. On Mars, for instance, they fought and destroyed the surface. The air and water disappeared from the surface, and only by going underground did some groups survive. This is now becoming more general knowledge as it's coming out in the open. The group that lived on a planet circling the Sirius A star system, that's a system of Sirius has 3 stars, A, B, and it's got C, which makes a sort of an 8 around both of them. Each of those, the C star is a dwarf star, I believe, so it's burning out. And the others have, A is very bright, and they have planets going around them. So a group that was living on a planet in the Sirius A system was given a bias to the right side of the brain, and they graduated very quickly. I personally believe that some of those beings volunteered to oversee and work with the karmic records, to help people to learn and make better choices. They are free from ego because they have graduated. But in general, most of these groups evolving in our galaxy and beyond had a bias to the left side, which helped in scientific development and critical thinking. But it also drove those people to endless debating, arguing, and destroying each other. These members of the Council of Planets had been getting together and had sent emissaries to Earth to measure the bias and the general frequency of the humans of planet Earth. And it was decided that since they possibly could end up in another cycle of destruction and war, there was going to be a shifting of the bias to the right brain, affected by these beings of the World Council members. This was especially initiated from the 22nd of August 21 till September 28th in 2021. So this is a month at the moment. We're in the middle of that month. And there is going to be a shift in the consciousness because they are going to adjust the energy, the bias from the left brain a little bit more to the right. After which the far left people may find themselves drifting into a certain reality of threat, fear and competition, and the right brain people will find themselves moved to a greater consciousness of God in their lives, which will lift them into the 4th dimension and then the 5th dimension of experience, which has greater unity. This channeling also talked about the earth being divided in East and West, where the East supports or is under the yoke of communism, a left brain type energy, and the Western free world, where the right side of the brain becomes more active. My master Meher Baba said, "I did not come to teach but to awaken." He came to make people aware of their intuition, which opens up inner knowing and a new awareness of oneness. Maybe to that aim he chose to be silent most of his life. I want to say something about the photon cloud. Apart from that right and left stuff, I heard that we are, as a planet, moving into a photon cloud in the universe that has a high frequency. If we pray to God and meditate, this high frequency energy can help us to make our dreams happen, to manifest a better reality than the present world. It can also split incompatible people apart and allow the compatible people to be with us, to help us surf the photon wave, which may also relate to the 1,000 years of peace, which was predicted in the Bible. This is a war of minds and mental concepts and hearts and souls, and it is a time of purging the dark energies of the Kali Yuga, which is now ending, and entering into a golden age after the purge is over. Because some off-worlders are beings from other planets who are also getting involved in our present situation with the Earth, and ancient gods were part of creating the human species on Earth. These may take form and walk amongst us in this time of great change, or they may observe and guide us from behind the veil, from what we call the spirit world. Some people will channel their messages because these beings may prefer to not actually take a human form, but remain as guides and teachers from the other side. When people take a human form, they often become overwhelmed with the immediate demands of the third density consciousness, and may forget their mission that they set out with at birth or before taking form on the physical plane. So those with a special mission often have extra angels or guides to see them through difficult times and to remind them of special intersections that are tagged for them by experiencing a déjà vu or other trigger points. Also, as the population of the Earth is shifting from second and third consciousness to fourth and fifth, they have to get help from their higher self and the many Earth angels and light beings that have incarnated for this purpose. The source from the Council of Planets mentioned that there are 900,000 individual soul beings that have chosen to be of service to the Creator, as their life path, while there are 2.7 billion individuals that have chosen to be of service to others, and that there are 900,000 wanderers presently incarnated who will spread love and light during this transition time. The reptilian part of our mind operates in the second density, and it is urgently necessary for us to rise above this, as the reptilian mind loves to fight and enslave other individuals, which is going to make it hard for humanity as a group to evolve and rise to a higher frequency. Maybe there are nice reptilians, but they have a very different energy from us, human beings. To advance, we have to first come aware of ourselves and resist the elites trying to create fear, which will keep us stuck in negativity. We have to become aware of ourselves before we can move into the greater harmony and unity of the higher planes. So these seem to be the steps, and we all have to do our best to rise up in frequency and realize that we are not alone, and that our thoughts and actions affect the group consciousness. We activate the right brain by praying to God, meditating and engaging in creative and helpful projects. My master Meher Baba said that he will make people read the Book of the Heart by activating intuition. Maybe he specially worked on that by keeping silence for most of his life, which was in India from 1894 till 1969. He also spoke about his manifestation when he would speak and break his silence. After 44 years of silence, he spoke a few words to his attending disciple Wilcock, which I remember as being, "Remember this, I am not my body." And so we can hope and work towards the manifestation of divine love in the hearts of all of us, which will be like the second coming of the Christians, and we will all feel so much love that arguing about right or wrong becomes completely unnecessary. So I don't believe that the second coming is necessarily a single person who's going to fix it for us. I think it's us all realizing that we all have our part to play in the creative process of the Christ. That is why our Bible stories start with eating the tree of good and evil, which was introduced by the sneaky snake, the beguiler. Now we hope to come to the end of this good and evil story, the end of this epoch of human consciousness that keeps us fighting and arguing, rather than helping and supporting each other. The media have done the job of the snake, sowing division, and governments have been trapped in wars, which create suffering and fear, which nurtures the elites in their abuse of the human race. So let's wake up to this abuse and stop feeding them with our fear, since really truly they don't have our best interest in mind. God bless you all with insights, intuition and truth. Namaste.